I could just sit here and listen to the waves and what's left of the fire forever. But we can't. We have work to do.
What is it? What do you want from me? I can't go.
How could you not see that phasmid? See. He stares at the reeds and falls silent. Mr. Dro? The man does not respond. He keeps staring, black eyes glazed over and bulging from their sockets, his gap-toothed mouth shaking with fear and longing. Like an addict of some terrible substance. Hey, snap your fingers under his nose. We touched the phasmid, it might work. A light shiver passes him, but followed by nothing. His hands are trembling, and he breathes slowly. He's going into some sort of psychomotor immobility. The lieutenant inspects him gently. The good news is this solves our transportation problem. Doesn't it, Mr. Dro? The trembling mouth appears to sigh. Between this and the broken tire he's used for a boat, I think it's safe to leave him here while we go and get help. It will need to be medical first, I'm afraid. What do you think has happened to this man? Old age and shock. He looks at him, then at you. I think it is the phasmid. Yes, the arrest and the appearance of the phasmid, the combined stress. He looks at you. But you think it's something more than that, don't you? There's much more. Remember what it said when it spoke. Quite a few things about that health check you did on him make sense now. Okay, before, when I evaluated his state, he seemed strangely animated. He was energetic and articulate. After all of these years alone, with little hygiene or medication, I would expect worse. Perhaps that's influenced by something in the phasmid. He does not seem to be animated now that it's left. Honestly, I'm ready to believe anything at this point. Maybe it is psychoactive. I mean, why not? It's 3 meters tall. He takes off his glasses and cleans them. When he puts them on, he's still staring at the sea. He couldn't see it, Kim. It was just the reeds. That could be part of the shock. But you're right. Something is off here. Mr. Dro? He touches the man's shoulder. No response. Maybe this is how the phasmid has stayed hidden all these years. Then how did we see it? Oh, you mean whatever does this, does it over time? Teenagers, kids, drunk, sightings are brief, and hence not credible. But anyone who spends a long time with it, yeah, you forget it's there. Lieutenant inspects the man. Mr. Dro, have you ever seen a stick insect pretending to be the reeds? The old man stutters. The doctors will have to look at this. I hope your station has a better medical personnel than 57. This is a little advanced for a nurse. I think he's addicted to the thing, like a drug. He has displayed addict behavior, and not just to painkillers. His pupils appear to be dilated. They still are. He examines the catatonic man's eyes. It's not just chemical. Is it as if he's infatuated with it? Some kind of oxytocin release mechanism? That would go with the pupils. But this is way above me, detective. Could there be something hormonal in his relationship to the phasmid? You mean pheromonal? He did seem a little off and randy for a man his age. His scope, knowing of her bruises, his disposition towards Miss Aranye. I see what you mean. Sure, I talked to the phasmid, Kim. It said it's destroying him. You should be more careful, detective. Are you sure it wasn't having an effect on you? Maybe. Anyway, it's only trying to remain unseen. The degradation is a side effect. A valid hunch. Long-term exposure to something like that could be neurodegenerative. Also, please be careful when approaching unknown species like that in the future, detective. Kim, I don't think I'm going to approach an unknown species for the rest of my life. Unless my ex counts. No. This game shows you what it's like to have unhealthy relationships in your past, folks. Let go if you can. He's been here a long time. Who knows how much of it in his company? He did seem distressed when it finally came to arresting him. Like he didn't want to leave this place. And the insect, maybe. He looks at his notebook. I have absolutely forgotten to take notes. I hope I remember all of this. This will be one hell of a report. Thank God we have the photo. He shakes his head in disbelief at himself. We found some things in the phasmid nest. He stares into the reeds. Your words don't stir anything in him. Perhaps you should show him the scope. I lost. You lost it, Mr. Droke? He turns his eyes to the reeds again, as he's done so many times. Beige and white stripes. He lost the scope. Then it somehow made its way over here, with the help of a magpie phasmid. The lieutenant observes the lens sparkle in your hand. The sight is a T9, Mr. Droke. Was it attached to the rifle when you made the shot? Silence. Not even a sigh. You've gotten all you will out of this poor being. We're still gonna try. Helmet? Nothing. Just Del staring. Not even rage left wherever he is. The last embers have gone out. The war is over. If Kuno kicked it into the sea, as he said he did, the ebb would pull it back here. This makes sense. Mr. Droke could have picked it up. Or the phasmid, even. If it did, this is incredible. Incroyable? Yes. Show him the Oranje passport. No reaction. His breathing is slow, and he appears very old all of a sudden. I mean, he appeared old the whole time, but now it's catching up to him. Around 80. This is an old man at last. No longer a tin soldier, but the broken down remains of a man. Did you take this passport and other papers from a buoy on the coast? Hey, stop playing your animations while you're supposed to be catatonic. He blinks and continues to stare at the reeds. The spirit. He hears us. The spirit? No reply. He's gone again. Try something else. We got him back for a moment. That's everything, Kim. The plastic cape flaps around his face in a gust of wind. His back is slouched and his mouth open. The blacks of his eyes are receding. His pupils are returning to normal. The strength has all gone out of him. Just frail old bones in a sack of tracksuit trousers and a windbreaker. Hang tight. We should think about getting back to the mainland to get help. He'll be safe here if we don't take too long. Okay. So what, we just walk? We just walk. What are you doing, officer? I don't know what comes next, but I know I want to be ready. Brave soldier of a tie, you are not supposed to still be here. There we go. That'll do. How's our mental stats going? Should be okay. Plenty. It'll still let us sleep? Why? Does it take us back to the dream? I kind of want to find out. Maybe it's better to get back to the mainland. Rest there. You've earned it. I was wondering. I didn't think it would, but I was ready to be surprised. Kim, where are you going? Do we try to use that air-gapped computer again? No, probably not. A different kind of solemn out here now. Kim, we've made it a long way. Aw. Alright. Let's return to the mainland. We're done here, he says, adjusting his glasses as he looks out over the water. The skiff rocks gently under your weight as you get in. The ride back is quiet and uneventful. No sad FMs were contained within it. But for the sound of conversation on the water, there is someone inland waiting for you. Two men and a woman stand on the concrete square of a nameless village, looking at a small yellow boat as it draws closer. The sea is calm. You reach the jetty and climb out of the skiff. Kim, I don't want to go. The skiff bobs in the calm waters. It has nothing more to do.
Yes?
Okay. Lillian, your boat is intact. We might need it again, though.
Look what the tide brought in,
Says the man without sunglasses. Suddenly, his expression changes and he tilts his head.
Harry, you're bleeding all over the place. You're half dead.
Yeah, why didn't you care about that when I was around earlier? Whatever this is, it is completely unimportant compared to what you've just seen. This is the man with sunglasses. From the whirling in rags, but where are his sunglasses? Hey, forget about all this. There's a giant... No one else seems bothered by the bleeding.
Bothered by it? Harry, you look like you need a fucking organ transplant.
Maybe I do.
Fuck it. Let's not get into that.
Forget all about this, alright? There's a giant...
We're not forgetting about anything. Look at you.
Alright, I can't get out of not knowing. So, you're the man with sunglasses.
That's right. And you're bleeding.
Who are you people?
Hello, I'm Trent Heidelstein. I believe we've met on several occasions.
Your voice is very different. I would also like to extend a quiet thank you to Rhapsody for taking care of that for me. It was a lot of fun to get to work with him. We talked about possibly doing this finale sequence with him, but after doing the first one and the editing, I looked at how I would have to do this and realized that it would be a lot of problematic editing. And I am optimistic, but that would have taken some doing. So, thank you again for your service. Sorry I couldn't make it work for you, bring you in for the finale. You're one of my 3 viewers, so I know you'll get to see this.
I'm your goddamn partner, Jean Vicmar, and this is your special task force, or what's left of it.
He says, gesturing towards his companions.
Special Consultant Trent Heidelstein, Patrol Officer Judith Minot.
Hi.
Just hi.
We have come to scrape what's left of you off the pavement.
Is that so?
Lieutenant Kim Kisuragi, Precinct 57. We've just come from the island where our investigation led us.
He points to the seafort. The scene is making even him feel as though he has to justify your actions.
We might need your help with something later.
He adds, suddenly regaining his confidence. as if he recalled that he is, in fact, a decorated police lieutenant and not a naughty boy. That, like we are. The two aren't mutually exclusive.
But this is clearly a departmental matter, so I'm going to leave you to discuss it among yourselves.
Thank you, Lieutenant,
It's good to meet you, Lieutenant Kitsuragi.
she says warmly, flashing Kim the tiniest of smiles. Letting the lieutenant know he shouldn't feel embarrassed over the shitstorm about to befall you, us, viewers. What is this about?
Ari, we want to help you. Trant, I believe this is where you come in.
Okay. This is the Horseface woman. I don't know why you named her that, but it was beyond idiotic. You should never address her using those words again. Yeah, it was pretty bad. I didn't like it.
I don't quite know what I'm doing here. I was asked to participate as an expert. I think I need to manage your expectations a little. I'm at best an enthusiast in cognitive science.
Man, his recorded voice still sounds like he's stilted reading a script in front of a classroom.
My background is in something else entirely. I engage in neurology on a merely theoretical level. In fact, I should probably get going.
He makes air quotes around the word.
No, Trant, it's too late. You're part of this shit now. What have you got to say for yourself, shit kid?
Shit kid. What an interesting moniker. How low of a check is that? Yeah, it wants us to pass that. What's a shit kid? You, shit kid. That's you. Despite all you've done, the deserter, the phasmid, the case? Yeah, despite all that I've done? No, because of all that you've done. How did you know I was here? The cafeteria manager you fucked over told us where you went. I saved his establishment? Strange. He didn't mention that. In fact, the establishment didn't look saved at all. There was a giant aero graffito in front of the building. It was on fire. Yeah, I lit it on fire. It was already done before me, but I totally put it on fire. It was a poetic gesture. I knew it. Didn't I tell you, Tom? I told you it was our shit kid. The line is from Lou Jeton's Morova 82, isn't it? About girl-child communism, the titular returning character, the ghostly apparition of... He looks around and, noticing the impatience of his companions, stops himself. Good choice, Harry. He is correct. Was the Ceres poet Lou Jeton, who in the 50s of the last century composed a Don't encourage him, Trant. Okay. I'm sorry, that I didn't recognize you before. It's okay. I didn't come here to gloat or to fool you. Neither did he, actually. She gestures towards Vikmar. We're just worried. That's right, worried. I'm always worried about you. Every time you don't show up to work, or when you do but stink. You're a worry fest. She's worried about you. I'm worried about you. Even Special Consultant Backpedal over there is worried about you. Everyone worries. Instead of working. It's got a very solid case there. Actually, I've been trying to find a good moment to tell you. What, you're worried too? Yes, you often sound like a brutal idiot. So, Trant Heidelstrom turns out to be Special Consultant Trant Heidelstrom. Yes, I'm Trant Heidelstrom. I never said I wasn't Trant Heidelstrom. So, what was up with the kid then? Mikhail? Mikhail's my son. His son? What a joke! Everyone is lying to you! Okay, that can't be real. Oh, okay, sorry. No problem. So what are you special consulting here? What indeed? He looks at the dilapidated shacks. Then you. I was asked to share my take on some of the more obscure theories developed in Koenigstein in the 30s, like partial psychotraumatic amnesia, group personality theory. He's here to see if you're insane. He's smart. Let's move on. You mentioned a task force? Yeah. Major Crimes Unit under Lieutenant Dubois and Vikmar. Ring any bells? Oui? refresh my memory. Who else is in this unit? Refresh your memory? It's a goddamn major crimes unit. There's you, me, Yud, Trent fucking Heidelstrom, and Guillaume Vevey. He stares at you. I'm technically just a civilian advisor. Fuck you, you're part of this shit show. Okay, who's Guillaume Bevy? Huh, that's an interesting story, actually. He's not smiling. Guillaume Bevy is a police reporter who joined our team. He was really good. Then he left because he lost faith in your ability to lead the unit. Other people have left too. Good, smart people. People we won't get back. Only me and this really patient patrol officer are still here. And Trump, because I'm forcing him to stay. I know. Is this Guillaume Bevy blonde and partial to sunglasses? You know, like you were. See, there! Ha! He's getting it, he wags his finger at you. I was impersonating him. Look at me, I'm G. Bevy. It was going to be funny. But then you really did have brain damage, so not so much anymore. He sincerely thought it was going to be amusing for both of you. Okay, what does the unit do? It's a major crimes unit. We cleared a desk of cases so Precinct 41 doesn't look like the worst station in town. We're shit tier now, Harry. Because of you. The 41st isn't... He trails off, not wishing to finish the sentence. So where have you been all this time? Where have we been? We've been fucking off as far as I remember. He crosses his arms. You told us to fuck off. You said we're cramping your style. You're detective god. Fuck everything, all will burn. Detect or die. I said all those things? I'm not like that anymore. Sure. You're not a superstar law official. Talk on the town is your Guillaume Le Million reincarnate. I know this shit. Nothing has changed. None of this is ringing any bells, okay? The bells aren't ringing because you have brain damage. Trant, this is where you come in. How bad is it? Well, he doesn't have visible tremors. He talks without slurring. He can drive a boat. He's standing, reasoning, all good signs, but complete retrograde amnesia, episodic and semantic. Meaning you forgot both who you are and the definitions of money, isola, pale, and so on. As displayed in the station call, our interactions with him, and I don't want to be a snitch, but also mine with him before, when Harry did not seem to know who I was, it's all very interesting. Interesting? Yes, interesting. I have my theories. But I would like to hear Harry's thoughts first. Harry, what do you think happened to you? Neurologically, psychologically, and why not socioeconomically? Wait, socioeconomically? You think I'm so poor I lost my memory? Not when you phrase it like that, but I don't think critical theory... I know everyone thinks this is far-fetched pink academia, but still, I don't think it should be off the table here. What? He lost his money? He lost his memory because of capitalism? No, not like that. I'm not talking Vredefort school here, but Harry, I asked you, what do you think happened? Okay. It's a mix here, because I kind of feel like that. I kind of feel like that. This was true. Something so sad happened to me that I couldn't be me anymore. I think it was a defense mechanism. Psychotraumatic amnesia? He turns to the special consultant. I can go for that. Shit kid is a broken man. Always has been. Who isn't? I know I am. But you know what? He turns back to you. I keep my shit together. Also, I know a person can't wipe their own mind. However traumatic it gets. That doesn't happen. You're lying, or insane, or both. But, Detective Vicmar, He has blacked out before. I have? Yes, a couple of times. After some of the more serious benders. She pauses, remembering. One was after the two drunks case. The other when we looked into that mural. The two cases in your ledger, the unsolvable case and the next world mural, those were recent. Those cases were hard on you. Interesting. So at first he dipped his toes into it. Prepared. That's where he would have gotten the idea. Yes, practice. And then he used alcohol to get there, so to speak. What do you mean? Well, here is my theory. What if this is an absolutely normal reaction to the world we're living in? What if this is not a significant anomaly at all? Something to be explained, approached as a defect. Look at the sensory input here. He gestures towards the scenery. Look at the ruins, the neon. Listen to the radio, the multitudes. Live the people. Live here for 40 years? As a police detective, he's like a magnetic reader on the world tape. To borrow a known metaphor, Harry's been pushed flat against it. Total input. Hardwired to the free market. He nods confidently. He just needed for it to end. Okay, Trant, thank you. That's absolutely meaningless. I'm glad we brought you. Will he or will he not be able to work in the major crimes unit? Is he a cretin now? I want to know that! He is not a cretin, and he is able to do work. If not in his previous leadership role, then as a line detective. No, I'm ready to lead again, because check out what I did with this case, okay? I'm ready. No one even mentioned that. He looks at you, then Trent. I misphrased my question. It should have been, is he able to put his clothes on and use the potty, or do we need to get him on a disability pension? They can keep your pension, you're rock solid. You can put your clothes on hard. All right. What now? Now nothing. We're just going to stand here. Really? No, now we discuss that. He points to the water. What the fuck did you do to our motor carriage? Why is it there, Harry? Tequila sunset. I kind of want to say that. Tequila sunset. I also jumped the canal, by the way. Ha ha ha, ho ho ho. Tequila sunset, jump the canal. So funny, Harry. Thank you for fucking me. Thank you for destroying 45,000 real of police property that's coming out of my payslip. You know that, right? You're gonna get fired, and I'm gonna pay till I die. It doesn't matter. Your badge, Harry. Show me your badge. Okay. Here. What? Oh, jeez. In a rush to demonstrate your badge, your eager fingers can't sustain a grip on the smooth plastic, and the badge slips out of your hand. How many points do I have back here? Yeah, we're not... I am not dropping this. Okay, I might. Not today, badge! Oh, look, the drama is unnecessary. I got the badge, all is well. The man is unimpressed by the piece of plastic in your hand. And your gun? As if having your badge and gun are natural states, not achievements. Lost gun. Lost gun. Right here. Oh, he has it, and he didn't drop it. He wipes his brow in mock relief. You're drunk like a bum, Harry. Put that thing away before you kill someone. Look. I quit drinking. Forever. It's only me in this boring hellhole now. I don't buy it. Why do you smell like a corpse then? Huh? He's wounded. He looks at you. It's been a long week. And he's handled an actual corpse. Yeah, it's been a bit of a week. I'm sorry I smell bad. I'm sorry I smell... no, none of this... I'm sorry I smell bad. We'll go with that. A bit of a week? You're drunk and you let a suspect escape a certain Klasia because you were too drunk to assess her flight risk? We've read the reports, Harry. Lieutenant Kitsuragi's. We know. Glacia, she was a spy from the Occident, specially trained. Oh, well, if she was specially trained. I'm not even gonna get into the other suspect who also escaped. Yeah, Ruby something? Or the fact that you're Evra Claire's little peon now? Doing I don't know what for him. That's small-time stuff. That's nothing. You're a humorous anecdote. Compared to the 6 people who were gunned down. The streets are literally red with blood, Harry. It was fucking mass murder. He did everything he could. The lieutenant interrupts him. We did everything we could. The company hired unvetted mercenaries. Lieutenant Dubois got between them and the locals. Here comes the cavalry. He did so at considerable risk to his person. Remember, he was shot. We stopped an execution, not the negotiation. The loss of life was minimal compared to what could have been. Yeah, it was a massacre. We got wiped. Where the hell were you? Don't make this harder for yourself, he says in a lowered voice. I thank you for the input, Lieutenant Kitsuragi. I didn't mean to suggest you didn't handle the situation. You spent the week with him on this case. What is your take on the case? On Lieutenant Yefreiter Dubois. Well, he pulls up his collar. The drinking, the gun losing, also losing the badge. That's all true. Although he has not been drinking on the job this week. See? 1 week. Then there's the superstardom. He likes to, from time to time, allude to being a superstar law official. At first, I thought it was a joke, but now I'm not so sure. He also says disco about 20 times a day. It's odd, especially in light of his political views. Detective Dubois is, as you may know, a hustler. The lieutenant pinches the root of his nose. Grinds. He makes the real. He's a visionary and a money engineer, which is just... He shakes his head. Odder still, he is also a Mazovian socioeconomist who believes in liquidating the ruling class. How he reconciles these 2 points of view, I do not know, but he is vocal on both of them. Hey! You weren't supposed to know that because I was never on them around you, and you took them from me in a scene that shouldn't have, okay? And then there's the motor carriage in the sea, and the drugs, of course, some kind of anti-radiation drug he uses to induce visions. But despite all this, he is a great detective. One of the best I've seen, in fact. He can talk human beings into telling him everything. And he doesn't stop. In all the time I've spent with him, he has not once stopped pursuing leads, however far-fetched and tangential. He is tireless, madly driven. Well, except that one time when he stopped to sing karaoke, which, by the way, I have to disagree with you, Mr. Vikmar, was a valiant effort. He really sang his heart out. Okay, he did something. Other than that one time, he has tirelessly worked on the case. And he solved it. We have a confession, a murder weapon, and the perpetrator locked on the island right now, awaiting transportation. He apprehended a straggler who stayed hidden for 50 years, ever since the revolution, who's probably committed other murders over these years. Oh, and he also discovered a new species. I forget what he says here if you actually get him to talk about killing the woman for the Claires. A new species? A colossal stick insect. It was on the island, camouflaged as the reeds. It unfolded from the reeds. I think we may be dealing with the Insulindian phasmid. He takes out the photo of the phasmid and shows it to the officers across the yard. The wind blows, flapping the glossy rectangle in his hand. You hear gasps beneath the howling of the wind. As you can see, it's about 3 meters tall. In fact, we think it may be the largest land invertebrate ever discovered. Say nothing. I don't need to now. Fucking hell is that? He cranes his neck, still looking at the photo. Is this somehow connected to the case? Detective? Yes. I believe the pheromone it emits may be responsible for the killer's mental degradation. The old man was not aware of the phasmid's presence. Exhibiting a strange, atypical dementia, he fell into a stupor after its appearance. Disappearance, you mean? Yes, I believe that is what the writers meant. He became near catatonic. So it is connected. I must say, this is absolutely extraordinary. It's... I don't even have words for it, and I'm paid to have words for everything. I'm Trant Heidelstone. Yes, it really does make it hard to fire the drunk. His tired eyes follow the photo as the lieutenant puts it away. This is a very, very sad man who has just seen something that's made him forget his sadness. Now is the time you make your case. Now or never. The killer, we have a strong motive for him. Josef Lilianovich Dro. Lilianovich? The special consultant raises an eyebrow. A revolutionary matronym. Matronym? The custom started in Grad, where they have patronyms. Krasovich, Larzovich. The revolutionaries saw this as a chauvinist atavism, so they used matronyms derived from the mother's name instead. The man's mother was Lillian. He was Lillian's son, Lilianovich. The custom was overturned after the revolution failed, but not before it made it to Revachol. So, it is what a soldier of the ICM would be called. Thank you, Trant. Thank you for that piece of cultural theory. You said you have a motive. Of course. Excuse me. I just thought it was noteworthy. He wasn't quite sure about the straggler before he heard this detail. It must have convinced him. He killed the mercenary in an act of jealousy. Jealousy? I thought this Lilianovich was an old man, to have been hiding for 50 years? 70-something? A strange psychosexual fixation, aggravated, possibly, by proximity to the phasmid and its chemicals. He himself gave a political reason, said he had killed an enemy combatant. Also, we have ballistics from the gun, matching the bullet found in the dead mercenary's head, and 2 officers on the scene that Mr. Dro confessed to. It's a clean win. Oh, it's way more than that. Way, way more. I'm still not completely satisfied with it. It could be just a little neater. Get over yourself. You're not a perfectionist. You're a cop and you did a good job, with a lot of help from Lieutenant Kitsuragi. He buttons his jacket, and none of this can hide the smell of booze on the wind. God damn it, doesn't it ever leave? It is there. Like in your bones or something. It'll pass. In time. The previous head of the Debardeurs Union was assassinated by our killer. The lieutenant lowers his voice just a little. This is a conversation for when we are no longer out in the open, in Martenay, where Edvard and Edgar Clare have ears everywhere. And eyes, too. Your return from the island must not have gone unnoticed. Understood, of course. But a case against Everard would be big. The lieutenant, too, has lowered his voice. I would prefer not to partake in anything union-related, for political neutrality. This has to be good stuff for him to backpedal out of it at the first mention. There's also a dead man on the boardwalk. Missing person I found. Yes, he has fallen through a gap in the boardwalk, drunk. How'd you know I found him? The body was transported to Precinct 41, our morgue. I had Tilbrook and Mullins take care of funeral arrangements and family stuff. You're not the only cop in the world, Harry. This all comes back to us. Still, good work with the missing person detective. You know what? I'm gonna go down the whole freaking thing. I don't care what you guys dislike. I started a nightclub. What was that? It sounded like you set up a nightclub in a church? Yeah, and I discovered a hitherto unexplored entropenetical phenomenon in there too. A 2mm hole in the world. That's great. Anthroponaut is a great new police career for you. After police officer. I don't care. Go live in the pale. 4 kids were living in a tent on the ice. They were going to drown when it melted. It's not optimal, but the building was abandoned, so he put them in there. It's okay. It's not that okay. Get off this subject now. Also, the phasmid was female. The reeds are its nest. Female? What makes you think so? You had to see it. It had the subdued colors of a female, and the nesting behavior too, I think. Incredible! Were there eggs in the nest? Not as far as I can see. There were other things in there too, though. It had gathered items in its nest. A helmet, a scope, and a passport. Actually, you know, that would indicate it was a male. This is far from anything in my field, but I think such nests are called bowers. Bowers? I don't know. They are for attracting mates. Okay, it could have been male, actually. It must be robust if it can move a helmet with its limbs. It emits a chemical that makes it look even more like the reeds. Yes, that would be a chiromone, a pheromone that's seemingly beneficial to the host. It usually stimulates the affected's nervous system. Not a human's, of course, but perhaps a predator? The perpetrator seemed intoxicated somehow, like an addict. It's just a hunch, but there are species of bees that, under the influence of chiromones, take wasp larvae to their hives. Ants do the same with aphids, thinking they're... Do you think this is how it stayed hidden? Nothing is off the table, but I want to stress this. The find does not have to be connected to the case. The case is 100% prosecutable without any chiromones. Of course, Lieutenant, of course. We should treat the case and the phasmid as completely separate from each other. People are not going to... He shakes his head. They're not going to go for the speculation in the constabulatory. I think it reproduces by parthenogenesis. As in, cloning itself. What makes you think so? Observation. Well, then it shouldn't matter if it's male or female. The bower would just be rudimentary behavior from before the parthenogenetic mutation. That makes sense, yes. Very interesting. He looks around, quickly assessing the coast. Such organisms are extremely vulnerable to disease. A single strain of bacteria could wipe out the whole species. We're probably looking at conservation efforts here. In his mind, he is already planning a nature reserve, and he knows a good guy for that. I don't have any idea why to say its nervous system may be stored in its limbs. Like cephalopods, phasmids, I think, only have nerves in their heads and abdomens, though. There is a correlation between invertebrate size and intelligence. Was it? No, I wouldn't say it was. It was a sensing entity. There was something there. At that size, this creature would have a lot of surface area to put neurons into. It's basic geometry. And it had mandibles. It looked like hair. And it was completely white on the inside. Yes, but also reed-colored, beige and brown, a little green on the outside. After unfolding from a single stalk, it still retained parts that looked like reed tufts on its limbs. Incredible! The PR value of this is incredible. Cop discovers new species. Maybe even discovers the Insulindian phasmid. No, that's too much. This would really help with some of the problems we've been having. Absolutely. This is great. This does not say vigilante murderers to me at all. This says science, news, human interest. He smiles. You know, it's really good that you have that photo. Without it, he shakes his head. You're doing good here. Perhaps only for a moment, but still. And I fixed the strike situation? How? It seems to be ongoing. I see red banners on the gates. He didn't quite solve it. He cross-pollinated information between the company rep and Everard, until the rep came to see that the union desires war, at which point Mrs. Messier decided to... He shrugs. What, hand clear the terminal? Look, it's a solution to an unsolvable problem. Sounds like you got played, Harry, because you were off your tits on Al Ghul. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe, certainly. Your Everard Claire's beyond him now, just as I said. He's a mob boss, did you know? Is that why you want us to investigate the assassination of the previous Union head thing to get off Everard's hook? No, it's nothing like that. He was reckless with information, but ethical. We don't owe anyone anything. This allowed us to stabilize things in Martinet. God, calm down, Jean. Silence. Good. The man doesn't know what to say. I also looked into the mystery of the doomed commercial area. I don't know what a doomed commercial area is. Commercial building where all businesses go bankrupt. Why? That's not what you were supposed to do here. There was a fridge we needed, and a possible witness. He was just chasing a lead and ended up advising a local shopkeeper. It was okay. Of course. Call it community outreach, right? Dodged the bullet there. For a moment, it seemed like you were just wasting time. I don't think Kuno's dad matters. Does it? Nah. So what do you say? You want to take this hot shit back? I don't want to. But you discover the new species and solve the murder? He shrugs. So I have to. You'd? Anything that ends the trial is okay with me. Agreed. The public relations potential of this is too valuable to let go. Okay. Okay. We have vehicles in the square, and the perpetrator needs to be taken into custody. Let's go. Wait, no. I have a few questions about who I am, okay? He looks westward, impatiently, jingling his car keys in his pocket. Okay, who am I? Who are you? You're a gym teacher, Harry. What? Well, obviously you're not a gym teacher anymore, but before? Before you're a cop, you were a gym teacher in Coron. She looks around. It's getting really cold outside. Should we maybe... No, wait. I was a rock and roll singer. You haven't told us about that. You've just told us about being a gym teacher. That does explain a lot. Harry, it explains everything. The running around, the jumping, the shot put, your inexplicable facial hair, the collection of fallen sportswear I've amassed, your love of retro-style dance music, how you were able to perform a 360-degree spin kick. I'm flattered you remember. The incredible stamina output. Also, this guy, just everything about this guy. God, even this javelin-throwing freak here. Oh God, the whole thing with Contact Mike? Of course, Contact Mike. He's been on about Mike again? I hate that guy. Contact Mike is a reprise of the most inspiring basic sporting principle of open competition. A 5,000 to 1 rank outsider. Oh, you don't say. Does he also vault an impassable gulf of finance and privilege? It is getting cold out. When was this? When I was a gym teacher? When was I a gym teacher? In your 20s or late 20s? You've really let yourself go since then. You said in Coron? Yes, you taught gym in Coron. I think that's the term. Taught gym in a high school. You were a high school gym teacher. The smell of sweat and glue, the worn floorboards, rubber wrestling mats, bad shoes, and even worse body odor. Coron is just east of Jamrock. It was a short walk every morning to the baseball field or the sports building. High school, Harry, your goings on with Kuno, Andre, Acel, the whole thing on the ice. That's why you're so juvie. His smirk suggests barely contained laughter. All right, why did I join the RCM then? The regular. She inspired you to fight the big fight. Be more than you are. All that. You, every morning, walking from Voyager Road to teach gym. She, leaving for the academy with her spring coat on. The air filled with the smell of smoke and raspberries and incredible hope. An ocean full of hope. Huh. I see now. I knew it. I knew no normal human being can run like that. He's an honest-to-God gym teacher. Oh, goodness. Why am I like this? It's not a mystery. Some chick funked you over. Also, you're a drunk. You really went with it too. Really maximized the... Really? You're gonna make me say max damage in my own game? Ah. Was her name Dora? Yeah. Dora Ingerlund, I think. Not Dora Dubois? Wait, Dora Ingerlund? Something like that. Half Vassan. Vassan is where beautiful and impossibly blonde people come from. So, we weren't even married? No one is married anymore. This is Revachol. When was this? God, I don't know. 6 years ago? She was way before my time. 6 years? And you haven't gotten over it? What the hell is wrong with you? I mean, it depends on the person and the depth of the injury, but Harry here has hung himself out to dry because it's comfortable. Because it's safe to be hurt by the same thing instead of being hurt by new things. I know, because I've done it. 6 years? Yeah, or 7? You're not doing too good there. It's an old man thing. 2 old years equals 1 normal year. That and Dora Ingerlund really tore you a new one. A big one. Who was she? Incredibly bangable? Huh? She was extremely fuckable, Harry. Gorgeous. A gorgeous bourgeois woman. Wayfish. Like a Welkin, basically. What? Heartbreak Welkin. Pain Welkin! I've only seen a picture, but it's obvious you formed a real spiritual connection with how pretty she was. One you never recuperated from. Look, the sun is about to go down. It's time to go home. I think she taught in the Academy des Arts, east of the river, way east. Hard to say which came first, the middle-class chick or the drink. Egg and the chicken kind of thing. My point is, you need to see a psychiatrist about this shit. Not a psychologist, several degrees harder. Is there something harder than a psychiatrist? A forensic psychiatrist? Go talk to that! In other words, he's heard enough about this. Okay, am I working for La Puta Madre? We might as well get this out of the way. No. No? Because the suspects seem to think, you're too unstable to work for a mob boss. You're suicidal, Harry. No mob boss would take you. I assure you, I wouldn't consult for a corrupt unit. He would immediately backpedal out of it. I told you it's not that bad. What kind of station is 41? Us? We're the bloody murder station, haven't you heard? We're the bad guys. No one likes us. That's not true. Jamrock is too big for one precinct. You're just understaffed, and everyone respects the 41st. You have Captain Price. Thank you, Lieutenant. You're being kind. It is an understaffed station, and the district is too big, which is why we need to, he tilts his head northward, get back to it. We left Torsen and McLean to run the Sea Wing. It's not good. Torsen and McLean? Mac the Torso Torsen and Chester McLean. They're not fit to run a wing. Believe me, things are shaky enough as it is. And the Sea Wing is, God, there are 4 wings, Harry. A, B, C, and D. We're in C. It's made of losers and clock punchers. You and I reconceptualized it as a task force. It was a mistake. There's a lot of outside help involved. Not only me. Other losers, too. He's anything but a loser, but he would like to be seen as one. It's cooler that way. And tell me about Price. Ptolemy Price? He's the son of the old Price, one of the old founders of the RCM. He's one of the most highly regarded men in the force. You're lucky. Somewhere under the curved roof of a former silk factory, shaped like a ladybird with 2 chimneys, Police Captain Ptolemy Price sits behind a heavy wooden desk. Resident medic Nix Gottlieb pours him coffee. It's silent in the captain's office. They speak of change, the city, the tension on the streets. They speak of the events of April and the blood on the streets in May. I've got a point. Did we recently shoot up a church, by chance? So he remembers that. Yes, there may have been a raid on some churches. It wasn't good press. Shooting up churches never is. I was out of town, to be clear. What happened? Why do we need to go there? Our enemies were hiding in a church to the best of our information. That's it. I'm not talking about this anymore. Your security clearance is shit tier right now. You have to wait for it to go up. Your clearance will not go up while you are within earshot of the Union headquarters. Alright, so I work in the Bloody Murder Station. Okay, it's not the Bloody Murder Station. Oh, sorry. Okay, it's not the Bloody Murder Station. It's an old, converted silk mill with green desk lamps and a coffee corner. A lot of good people work there. Hard. Every day. Am I at 99 right now? I am. That's hilarious. Jamrock is the largest ghetto in Revachol. Faubourg, technically, but it's divided into 11 districts. Jamrock only has us. The press will blow over, he says in a reassuring tone. Jamrock is lucky to have you, and it's often considered to be the greatest of the districts. You're lucky to have it. Thank you again, Lieutenant. I need to tell Lena about this phasmid. Who is Lena? A cryptozoologist. She lives in Jamrock on Tabernacle Road. She told me about this phasmid. Tabernacle? It's on the way over, near where you live, on Perdition. She looks at Vikmar. Fine, if we're gonna drop you off anyway. She and her husband were conducting the search for the phasmid. It's their discovery, in part. They should know as soon as possible. It would do you some good to deliver positive news for a change. She is gonna be over the moon. Watch out, or she will faint. Kim, Lieutenant Kitsuragi, what will you do now? Well, first I will go back to my station and write the most detailed report anyone has ever seen. It will have to be good to cover all this. Then I will have a serious talk with my captain. About what? He pulls up his collar and looks around, the cold spring light reflected in the lens of his glasses. Detective, we just stopped a small-scale war. Something is happening to Revachol. Did I get another point yet? No. I don't know what yet, but it's going to be a hard spring for the RCM. We need to get ready. Infiltrate. Investigate. Distant traffic. A scrap of newspaper drifts by, carried by the wind. It says, tensions rise in Terminal YC in light of the Debateur's strike in Terminal B among representatives of heavy industry in Coal City. You read. Le Return. Wait, you mean the return? Perhaps. He watches a scrap of newspaper hit the ground. There are people who say the zone of control will not hold up long. They're not on the radio yet, but there are parties out there. Yes, his face darkens. I hear worries from systems analysts in Vesper and Messina. International risks departments in banks. People like that. We've been hearing whispers in Jamrock too, ever since fall. I agree that something is happening. People are tense. I hear a fan spinning fast, and something is about to hit it. Kim? Do you want to write that report at Station 41? Talk to Captain Price? I'd rather not ruffle the feathers of two captains with my doom-mongering. No, Kim. I mean investigate. Come work in 41. Work with Price? A crooked smile quivers on his lips. I'm flattered, but I don't know if I would fit in. Am crazy enough? Can take the stress? He doesn't know how to finish that sentence. This truly came as a surprise to him. Not a bad one, but he's at a loss. Flattered? You're Lieutenant Kitsuragi. We would be flattered if you even considered. The lieutenant turns very serious all of a sudden. I would have to tie things up in the greater Revachol Industrial Harbor first, but I mean, whatever is coming, Jamrock will be more central to it than the harbor. And we also have a huge caseload, Lieutenant. Piles that we need to get back to. Mountains even. I do like the sound of that. He returns her smile. He's really considering it. I'm ready. Good. She looks at you, then Vikmar. Fuck it, let's go. He points down the street. Tramp brought his motor carriage. It's a 20-minute drive to Jamrock. Under the noonday sky, the great district hums, a chessboard of wooden houses, 80,000 living souls in chimney stacks, fire traps as far as the eye can see from Main Street to Precinct 41, to Boogie Street forking into the snow-swept horizon. You close your eyes and hear the dogs bark. A lone woman sits by a factory window, dreaming of meteorite strikes. On the Rue de Saint-Jean, a square bullet slides into a square-shaped chamber. In Old South, a man without eyelids smiles. Spring has come. It's time. Torsen? Yeah. McLean? Yeah. Heidelstone? No. Vicmar? Yeah. Dubois? May we? Really? Nix Gottlieb looks up from the list. I hear he's quite unstable. You say that like it's a bad thing. You say that like it's a bad thing. Captain Ptolemy Price points his pen at the doctor. It's dim in his office and the curtains are drawn. Harry's our man, though. He'll pull through. And when he does, he'll side with Revachol. Understood. Gottlieb returns to the list. You know? Of course. Wonderful. Then can we please just go back to Jamrock now? Friends, this has been Disco Elysium, brought to you by some fantastic people that we are going to let scroll across the screen. I really enjoyed this game. There are some things that I wish I would have gotten to show you. There's actually a really big Shivers thing somewhere in that last conversation. Oh, yeah. Pay attention to all those voices that man did. Woo! In fact, be surprised at all the people that do the same voices. Woo! Oh, man. Somewhere in that last conversation, there was a gigantic Shivers check that I kept pumping points hoping we were going to get. I don't know where the check actually is, but it tells you a lot about Revachol's future. Rather than that one that is kind of suggesting that, you know, the RCM might be turning back into the ICM. Whoops! I managed to pull off a lot of the things within this game that I wanted to share with the world. That I wanted to share with you people. And this is also one of the first long-form projects that I have finished in a long time. It's kind of what brought me back to recording. So this is a big deal to me in a lot of ways. A lot of ways. I came back to YouTube and Let's Play as an outlet. You see, day job aside, when I'm not at my day job, I am making music. And as I've mentioned a few times at some of the timely things in this game, this is 2020. The world has not happened the way we wanted it to. And so I had to find an outlet because live musical performance was kind of what helped me keep my brain in order. And it was gone. So I came here. It's not the same, but it pushes some of the same brain buttons. And so I'm very thankful to have gotten back into this and to have people that care about some of the same things that I do. Friends? This has been Disco Elysium. I'm very glad you came with me for it. Thank you. Preemptively, am I gonna do this again? Maybe. Would it be hardcore mode? Maybe. I have some thoughts for it, but I need to give it a rest and to take a little space from it at the very least. Even if I wanted to do this immediately again, I need to do something else. I need a break. Some of these voices hurt. The Phasmin never said, I love you. It did on most of my other playthroughs. I'm sorry that you didn't get to hear that, folks. It would have been nice. Again, thank you for coming with me on this crazy journey. I'll see you in the next one, right? Later.